I always thought when I got older I'd maybe take a cruise somewhere. This isn't exactly what I had in mind. The service on this ship is terrible, Scully. It's not fair. It's not our time. We still have work to do.
Hello and welcome to Most Unwanted, episode 47 of Most Unwanted. Almost forgot the episode. I'm Chex, joined as ever by Luke, and we are going to talk about X-Files today, aren't we, Luke?
We are. I'm supported by some very fluffy pillows at the moment.
They're new pillows.
Are they new?
We bought them
They feel
about
good.
2 weeks ago. They're not bad, are they?
Yeah, I'm
bit
liking
more
this.
support.
I am, yeah.
So
I feel supported. I feel stable.
that's the way I like all of my co-hosts to feel.
Unlike Britain under Thatcher.
Right off the bat, I'm going to make a confession. We had a minor emergency just before we started recording. I went to check. Well, this is my week to host, and I went to check my notes, and they're not there. A certain online notes provider has let me down.
I reckon you gotta. You show
Should I name and shame?
Show him his boss and switch your note provider.
Oh, I should. Yeah.
F you.
What's a good note provider? What do you use?
OneNote.
OneNote.
Yeah,
It's never let you down,
I
has it?
love OneNote. Yeah.
See, I can't get a Google account though. It's just something about it. It just
Microsoft, innit?
keeps. Oh, is it Microsoft? Yeah, that's it. I can't get a Microsoft account because I've tried to use OneNote, but it just keeps on sending me round in a circle. I'll have to try.
Yeah. Sometimes it does that.
Yeah,
But
but at least, unlike Evernote, it doesn't delete your notes.
gosh, name and shame. That's a sponsorship straight away. I mean, if you do want to sponsor us, Evernote, then we will change our stance.
Yeah, we'll delete this episode.
Yeah. Or at least this part, anyway.
So we didn't want to put it off. We didn't want to. I think we're good enough. We can just use with a little bit of research, Luke. We can get through this. So I've gone far and wide looking for X-Files knowledge,
All right.
and I've landed in the well of knowledge,
Yeah.
which is Wikipedia.
Wikipedia, yeah, it's a classic source.
Yeah. So it's not ideal, but I'm gonna use Wikipedia as my guide throughout the episode, and we're just gonna have to be a little bit more loose with it, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
That'll be fine.
We could do it.
We'll do this, okay? Yeah. Also, to whoever's work I'm ripping off on Wikipedia, you're credited. Is that the way it works? Can I just say you're credited? And
Yeah,
then they're
thanks,
credited?
Wikipedia.
Thanks.
I'm sure that's the person who did it.
Sorted. Brilliant. But should we talk about how your week's been?
Yeah, I can do. To be honest, it's again another one of those weeks. Not a lot has happened. All I've done this week is buy some more comics, and I don't want to bore everyone by telling.
Just comics.
Yeah. Pretty much has been my.
Oh, that's your week. There's nothing to be ashamed of. That's a hobby. You can enjoy your hobbies. Doesn't all have to be X-Files.
It's true. I mean, to be honest, I have been eyeing up X-Files comics, like I mentioned. So
Mixing the worlds.
yeah. So
I like it.
I'm looking at them, but also I'm trying to find ones that aren't ridiculously expensive. Because I was
Expensive.
Not the newer ones. The old ones are. The old ones are quite
they'll be rare.
Yeah.
I suppose they didn't go. I can't imagine them printing money. To be fair,
I don't know. I'm not sure at that time because it'd been in the 90s, wasn't it? And
maybe.
the comics were sort of big up until about 2000, then they fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
That's why comics cost like $5 an issue now, basically, because of that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah, better not.
Well, we'll save that for our comic podcast.
It's a bit grim. How about yourself? What have you been up to?
Well, I've had some time. It's got to that time of year when I've had to use up my annual leave days.
Oh, yeah.
So I've just sat around doing nothing. You know what? It's been an absolute bliss. I've needed that. You don't realise you need it until you actually have it.
Yeah.
But just having that lie in and just getting up and just relaxing and even just being on your own, just some time to yourself. Sometimes you need it, I think.
Yeah.
And again, I'm quite a sociable person. I like to be out and about, but yeah, having that time to myself, I really enjoyed it. I just caught up on shows that I like. Played a few video games. It was just nice. It's been a nice chilled out week for me.
That's not too bad. What have you been playing? What have you been watching?
I've rewatching the last season of Game of Thrones.
Do you know what? That's funny you say that. Tash has just started rewatching Game of Thrones from the beginning.
See, I was tempted, but I just thought, no, it's too big a task. I've got too much to do. Just watched the last season, and I'm absolutely loving it. I knew I would. I loved it the first time round. So yeah, I'm powering through that. And game wise, I've just downloaded the new, not the new, Call of Duty 4.
The old
remastered new, yeah, which taken me back to when I was 12, 13, so that's fun.
Pretty much that was our formative years. That was pretty much how we spent our entire year 10.
That's how we got to know each other, really.
Yeah.
Playing that online.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, pretty much. That was the first time we all just started hanging around. Well, we pretty much spent our entire that year and onwards on Xbox Live, pretty much.
Yeah. After school, you just get straight onto Xbox.
I remember there was a time when we it would literally be, you'd talk about Call of Duty at school, you'd go home, play Call of Duty all night.
Get up, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Get up, go to school, and then carry on talking about it. It was literally our life for about, the entire of year 10. What would that be in America, like year 10? I don't know how the grade system works in America.
Okay, we can figure this out.
I always thought it was like completely comparable, like 10th grade it would be, but I don't know if that's true.
So you have high school. Okay, we've got to get this right because we're going to get absolutely slated if we get this wrong.
I don't know if we will.
I'm pretty sure high school. No. Okay, so high school goes up until I want to say
21, isn't it? I thought.
No, because there's freshmen and. Isn't there freshman and what's the other? There's 3 years where it's like you're freshman, sophomore, and what's the last one?
I've not got a clue. I know you have high school, middle school, junior high as well.
It's so complicated.
I don't know.
See, we have infants, junior, senior,
and then if you want to go to college, if you want to.
But then college is in America. College is. University,
or
like our version of university. Do they have universities?
They call it because they have Harvard University.
Harvard University, yeah.
Maybe you just do like masters and PhDs at university in America. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Interesting. It's complicated.
We don't know enough about we don't know enough about the English school system. Never mind the American.
Yeah, but I mean, we can't give ourselves too hard a time because if we could go and learn all that and then. A French person gets in touch and says, well, you haven't learned about the French.
That's
you know
true,
what I mean? Like, we can't learn every school system. Yeah. I think we're all right.
Unless we're teachers.
I reckon year 10 would be freshman. I'm going to put it out there, freshman.
Okay. We'll just take it. Well,
and I'm basing that off 8th grade.
The film
8th grade. Have you ever watched it?
No.
Phenomenal film, by the way. But 8th grade, she's moving up into freshman. And 8th grade is year 8. So, no, it would be sophomore. So, year 10 sophomore.
Okay.
I think.
Maybe.
That's 5 minutes of content right there.
So, who's your week bit now?
When I was in high school, you know what I wish I'd watched?
Yeah.
X-Files.
Yeah, me too.
But I did watch it yesterday. So, should we talk about it?
We should.
So this is season 2, episode 19 of the X-Files, and it's called Død Kalm.
Død Kalm. So before we started, we actually started talking about what Død Kalm means, because I said to you that it wasn't in the production notes, and I was a bit curious as to what it actually meant. Did you find out what it actually meant?
I did. I had a look, and there's only theories, no real sort of concrete reason. But the theory is that it's meant to be the Norwegian for dead calm, but it doesn't actually translate. Død is dead in Norwegian, but calm isn't anything. It's just gibberish. So apparently, I don't know. Maybe that they just thought it sounded cool.
Maybe
like they got the word Død and then just like Død Kalm. Like, maybe, but again, you just sound like Tommy Wiseau. That's the way I see it. That's all I could think of whenever I looked at the episode. All I could think of was Tommy Wiseau after last week.
Maybe that's where he is from. Maybe he's Norwegian. Because no one knows where he's from, do they?
No, they don't. No one knows anything about him, really.
He's
Where did he get all his millions from?
Honestly, he is like an X-Files episode in himself.
What a great episode that would be.
The backstory of Tommy Wiseau, if you weren't aware, is he appeared basically out of nowhere, wanted to make a film,
with billions in his bank.
All the money himself, will never tell anyone how old he is or where he's from. Yeah. He just appeared one day.
No idea. Yeah. You know what? That's actually a really good question. Let's have an opening question to start us off. Warm us up, loosen the limbs, okay?
All right.
If there was aliens living amongst us, right? Sort of shapeshifters, if you will, passing off as humans, what celebrities would you most suspect?
See, you'd think you've got to be like, oh, it's got to be a weird guy or somebody who's a bit weird. Yeah. But I think they'd be influential enough to slip in and get into a high position. I don't think they'd be like, I don't think they'd be president because, you know,
it's too in your face. They'd be like behind the scenes, wouldn't they?
I think they'd be a really influential celebrity because a lot of people take their advice these days from a celebrity. And as we've seen,
that's what they're called.
Exactly. As we've seen with Trump, celebrities now can become politicians. As that's changed. Maybe they're affecting change.
Okay, so what's
Kanye West is an alien.
Ooh, an interesting one. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, he's weird but influential. He's getting into politics.
Yeah,
it's not a bad. I don't think
you alien, Kanye. We're watching you. Yeah.
Can't say that, can you?
Yeah, we can call him an alien. What's he gonna do? To be fair, he's weird enough to sue us.
Probably, yeah. I mean, yeah. I wouldn't slander Kanye because he doesn't seem the type of person who would let the little guy off. You know what I mean?
No, he definitely doesn't. You know what? I really enjoyed his music back in the day.
Yeah,
and then he just. I don't know, he just started being weird for weird's sake.
Yeah.
Nah, not for me.
Yeah. I sort of, took a left turn, sort of left him there.
Yeah, just leave him there.
Yeah.
I think Men in Black got it spot on with Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman's an alien.
Yeah.
He's also getting involved in politics, sort of.
Exactly. So we've got Tommy Wiseau, Dennis Rodman, and Kanye.
Yeah.
Aliens.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Possibly. Let's just say the Queen as well. Just throw her into the buzz.
Yeah. I mean, would you know? She walks weird.
I mean, she's old.
She is old.
Leave her alone.
Let's get back onto the X-Files.
I mean, we were talking aliens, but let's get on task.
So, yes, this one's called Død Kalm, and the story was written by Howard Gordon, and it was written by Howard Gordon and Alex... Oh, sorry. The story was written by Howard Gordon, and the teleplay was written by Howard Gordon and Alex Ganzer. Directed by Rob Bowman, and it was originally aired on March the 12th, 1995.
Cool.
So, like I said before, this is the wiki version of this episode. I reckon we just go through here, scene by scene, just figure out what scene we're talking about, and then we can talk about what our thoughts were.
I've sort of got a cut off of the scene, so we should be okay.
Perfect. We'll make it through. Yeah. So we start off with a naval ship, basically. It's basically being evacuated, but not by the captain. The captain seems hesitant to get off the ship.
Yeah, he's steadfast but he wants to stay. Yeah, I think it's his lieutenant, isn't it? Wants to.
It's Sea Captain Barclay.
Captain, yeah.
Yeah, so Captain Barclay we later see. So important to remember him, but he stays on the ship. The rest of the crew are preparing to leave, and Barclay's basically calling it a mutiny. The lieutenant actually was like the other guy that was leaving was the lieutenant. Lieutenant Harper says he's not going to stand around and wait for help, and that it may already be too late for them. So Captain Barclay pulls a gun on him. I mean, it was a bit extreme.
yeah. I mean, but then again, I think the lieutenant just knew he's not going to pull the trigger.
No,
so.
And I got the feeling from the lieutenant that he almost didn't care because from how panicked they were dead anyway. Yeah, that's in their minds. That's why they was escaping. So if he pulls the trigger, well, it's a choice between death or death. You know what I mean? Yeah. At least this way it'll be slow. But anyway, he doesn't end up shooting him, and he ends up letting everyone go, and they leave Barclay behind on the ship. 18 hours later, we see a fishing vessel, and the crew are just playing cards, and they detect a drifting boat out in the distance.
Yeah, one of these guys that looked a bit like Adam Driver.
Who's Adam Driver?
Do you know...
is it Kylo Ren?
Yeah, Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
One of the guys, the
younger
guy.
To be honest.
The younger guy looked a bit like... I mean, it's definitely not him.
I mean, he'd been like 4.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, kind of looks a bit like Adam Driver.
Okay, interesting.
That was my only observation. So.
Well, I'll take it from here. They radio out a call to the drifting ship, what do you call them?
Lifeboat, is it?
Lifeboats, yeah. Well, sort of. It's like a little wooden boat, and it's not like a...
I think it's still a lifeboat.
Is that still a lifeboat?
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't get a response. They end up pulling it in, and they throw a rope onto it, hook it up, start pulling it in, and as it's pulling it in, they see like this, or we see, like this sort of old hand.
Yeah. I was a bit confused as to what that was.
To be fair, I didn't know it was an injured hand at the time, but it was like this really fragile grip. I think Darth Sidious from Star Wars. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
So they pull them close, put the torch on their faces, and the crew that we saw not 18 hours ago are now basically old men.
They're completely haggard, aren't they? Just like old and ravaged.
Yeah. I mean, and I will say this, and this is throughout this episode, I think the effects are good. They're quite obviously not prosthetic. Is it prosthetic?
Yeah,
like plastic or like molds on the face.
It was trying to be serious, but the only time I've ever seen this done is Jackass, when Johnny Knoxville plays an old man.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's all I could imagine every time I saw them.
I know exactly what you mean. It looked good.
Yeah.
But it was quite obviously fake, especially Mulder.
Yeah,
Mulder later on. Because he still looked young. You know what I mean? Beneath it, you could still see that he was young.
It's always the way with that type of makeup. It does look unnatural because you're just adding stuff to their face, not actually drooping the face.
There is one exception in my mind.
Go on.
Back to the Future 2.
Who's it now?
Marty. The mother.
Yeah.
I can't even remember any of the actors' names, but it's phenomenal how much they all look like those characters now in real life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, Marty McFly literally grew up to be what's his name? Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox literally looks exactly the same as he was made to look in that film. It is crazy. So yeah, I think they did it really well. I believe it was the title sequence after this.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It doesn't say that on Wikipedia, so that's just off my own head.
Stab in the dark.
To be fair,
you got it.
It's not too bad this going through this because I'm realising that as I'm going through it, I'm just picking it up and remembering it all anyway. I'm quite good at remembering scene by scene. It's just I need a little bit of a prompt.
Yeah,
so I think this works.
If you remember, if you've watched it recently, it's easier to recall, I think.
Yeah. So, to all our listeners, I think we're going to be on track this episode. We cut then to the Bethesda Naval Hospital. Mulder and Scully are there. They're speaking about the Navy ship that was missing. And he mentioned that it's been gone 42 hours. According to Mulder, a Canadian trawler picked up the only 18 survivors, and now only one is left alive in the intensive care unit. So basically, he's brought Scully there because with Scully's medical background, he thinks she can get away with getting in with the ID and having a look what's going on.
See, at this point as well, he sort of basically tells her, you've got to go in there and check on this. He doesn't tell her why at all. This could be some like contagious disease. I'm like, well, hang on, I want a bit more to go on.
And he literally doesn't know whether it is or not.
He doesn't know anything about it. Could kill her. If I was Scully in this situation, I'd want a bit more to go on.
And you'd think, he'd have enough swing about him to sort of be able to get an interview with him. Like, it's not...
Yeah.
It's I don't know, naval base, I suppose military doctors, I don't know.
Not sure, yeah.
But I can't imagine why it would be so secretive. But anyway, so Scully ends up getting in, and she goes to see Harper, but she's confused because Harper isn't a young man like he is in all the files. He's the old man that we saw in the boat. And she starts questioning the doctor, but the doctor starts questioning her right back, asking about her credentials.
She's a real hard ass, this woman,
she's not standing for anything. Yeah. and eventually tells her to leave.
Yeah. I thought this, again, was the military just getting in the way of their investigation. It seemed, again, I don't know if this was intentional this time, but we've seen in the past where the military get involved and that's it, they're closed out. So,
do you think that's anything to do with the X-Files, though, or is that just a sort of the way they respond to things? Because they've got to be secretive, surely.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially if it was a military experiment that's gone wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, not just that in general. Like, you can't just let anyone figure out how you operate, because otherwise that leaves you weak with a weak point. So.
Yeah.
When Mulder and Scully get back together, they discuss what she saw, go over the route the Navy ship took, and Mulder puts forward a theory that basically there's been 9 ships over the years, I think it's over a period of like 60 years.
I think, they said ever since like 1940.
Yeah.
9?
Yeah, so it's like a 50-year span or 40-year span.
Yeah.
9 ships have disappeared in roughly the same place, and he calls it the 65th parallel. It was mentioned whether it's like a second Bermuda Triangle, but Mulder calls it a wrinkle in time, which is quite apt considering what happened to the people that last went through it. They discuss a Philadelphia experiment, which was... do you remember what the Philadelphia experiment was?
Yeah, I'd heard about this before, actually. It was I'm big into watching these videos about conspiracy theories. I don't believe them, but they're always interesting. But there was an episode about the Philadelphia experiment. It's basically this experimental ship where they wanted to use some new technology for like stealth ships.
Oh,
basically.
It was, yeah, to evade the radars.
Yeah, and they basically...
During the time of like the Second World War, wasn't it?
Yeah, they said it was with Roswell as well, was involved, and there was some kind of alien tech. I think this is where they tie it back to the X-Files.
Yeah.
And it's apparently it instead of just going invisible, it disappeared.
Yeah.
What happened with this?
Which is exactly what happened with this. So this experiment was discontinued because apparently, according to theory, the scientists needed to go work on the Manhattan Project.
Yeah.
But Mulder does go on to tell her, like you said, about a ship which disappeared without explanation from the Philadelphia shipyard and reappeared in Norfolk, Virginia. It may have done so with the help of alien technology and the manipulation of wormholes of Earth. And he comes to this theory because the scientists didn't go to the work on the Manhattan Project. They actually went to Roswell, which would assume that they'd be going to collect some technology that no one knows about. So the two then take off without telling Skinner. They make a point of saying they want a day's head start on this.
Yeah. Before he does his report to Skinner, and me, as soon as he said that, I was like, Skinner's gonna be so pissed off. You can imagine. Yeah. You can imagine him like in a scene that's not been filmed. He just getting the report and just going, "Oh,
just squinching up his hand. Steam coming from his ears. I just hear a train whistle.
As we find out, that's actually his kettle. All of the comedy tropes.
Every time we see Skinner, it's like a Laurel and Hardy sketch. So we jump to the next scene now. And in the port of Tildescan, I want to say.
Yeah.
I think that's the way you pronounce it.
I assume.
It's in Norway. At a shipyard in Norway, it's a bar in a shipyard in Norway. Mulder and Scully look over a map with a Norwegian man. But basically no one's talking to them. And if we gather that they've talked to about 5 people, and everyone's refusing to talk about them, about it. Many of the sailors they're all looking around. They're sort of just giving them glances across the bar. It's not a very comfortable atmosphere. And Scully thinks they look afraid of their undertaking. But a man does step forward, and he explains why the men will not take them on. Ships must get a certain classification before they can go out into those waters. Yeah. So this isn't... Basically, it's almost like off limits. Yeah. So it's not just like any ship can just go along out to it.
This guy reminded me of the fisherman from, or the shark hunter from Jaws.
Yeah,
Right, just out of nowhere, I'll take you there. I can do this. I've done it before.
Yeah, he's very much like a bounty hunter, isn't he? Almost. Yeah. His name's Henry Trondheim, and he offers his help. He says he can take them out there. He tells them that the trip will be 10 hours each way, and Scully wonders why everyone is so afraid, and Henry tells them it's because of various mythologies. And when Henry asks about the nature of their visit, Mulder gives a vague answer. So Henry says, yeah, for a price, I can take you to where you want to go. Yeah. So he's sort of going in blind.
Yeah,
he's not really explained what's happening.
That's the one takeaway from this episode, that they paint this guy later on as sort of a villain or more of an antagonistic sort of figure. He had no idea what he was going in for, really. Yeah. I felt a bit sorry for him at the end.
I think the thing is that they can afford to paint him as the antagonist because of his cocky attitude. Yeah. But he didn't do anything wrong. Well, morally, I suppose you could say he did something wrong, but again, that's self-preservation.
Yeah, he did not know he was heading into an area where he was going to rapidly age. Yeah. If they'd have told him that, he'd be like, I don't know about this.
But then neither did Mulder and Scully to play devil's advocate. So I suppose
they were talking about this as well, of one of the reasons as to why they're scared of this area, and they said something about a rock falling from the sky into the water, and there's a dark god. Immediately I thought, is this going to be some weird Cthulhu stuff or something like that? I was like, what is this? But I mean, it doesn't go that way at all. But
it is something to do with a rock of some sort. Yeah, I mean, it's your right to think they settle on.
That's what they decide on.
We cut straight onto the ship, and Mulder's looking a bit worse for wear. He's a bit seasick.
Yeah.
When asked why the journey's taking longer than expected, Trondheim says the fog's really thick and his radar or his sort of compass is going haywire. Mm-hmm. It's just making the whole journey difficult. But on his notes, he's exactly where he's supposed to be. This is the right place. It's just everything else. Nothing's there. Mm-hmm. No sooner does he say that than a naval ship appears out of nowhere. Yeah. And they stop just short of crashing into it, basically.
They put the brakes on it. It does sort of nudge it.
Yeah, it bounces off it, doesn't it? But it doesn't damage any of the ships.
No.
So they jump aboard and they go and investigate this area. All of them.
Mm. Yeah, that was a bit of a rookie mistake, wasn't it?
I get it, because they are in the middle of nowhere, but wait there, who's on that ship?
Nobody. All get off. Because initially I thought, we'll jump to this in a bit.
Yeah.
I thought that the officer who he was with, the captain was with his officer. I thought the officer had drove away and just left them all there.
Yeah.
But it turns out he was on the ship as well, because he gets
he gets.
So the lot of them all vacated the ship
And didn't tie it up.
Didn't tie it up.
No, because the engines are on. Someone was driving it away.
I think that's implied that it's that guy's, the rest of his crew.
Why would they leave him there, though?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it? Because the Pirates was a bit of a plot hole for me.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a weird addition, apart from just, I suppose, exposition.
Yeah. And they needed more of a villain figure in it.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway.
We jumped ahead quite a lot
there. We did, yeah. Sorry for all the spoilers. They climb aboard, like I was saying, and Trondheim calls it a ghost ship, which it basically is. It looks rusty as hell. He's saying it's been there for years, but Scully does see a plaque saying it was built in 1991.
Yeah,
which was 4 years before this was filmed. So it's not that old. It definitely shouldn't have rusted
for a battleship. That's probably close to brand new.
I'd say so. So the entire vessel appears to be abandoned. They go and inspect the crew quarters, and basically they're all dead. But not just dead. They've got this mold, or
it's. I think it's meant to be salt, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a sort of a layer of. I don't even.
Crust.
Yeah. It's like a crusty substance. It reminded me a little bit of the game Last of Us.
Yeah.
With the sort of coal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, just this weird crust all over them. She goes to investigate a little bit further with a knife, and just even the slightest bit of contact, his hand fell off.
They mention it's sort of a bit like a mummification, or some kind of that kind of...
Which you'd imagine salt could do that. Yeah. I think they did use salt in their mummification in Egypt. So they hear a noise, and it turns out to be the ship starting and leaving without them. So all four of them on the side of the ship, and they're just shouting to get this ship back, but it's just gone. We don't know who's done it at this point.
Again, at this point, I had no idea.
And to be fair, you don't really. You still don't.
Yeah. Again, it's implied that it's this pirate's mates, I guess, who are on the ship. But again, why would they leave him behind? Yeah. I don't know. Unless they're just every man for himself, and they thought, well, he's off somewhere.
He's gone.
Yeah, we'll leave him.
So at this point, it's all hands on deck. Excuse the pun.
He doesn't even have his notes with that written down.
I know, yeah, that was just off the top of my head. It's all hands on deck to try and get this naval ship running again. It's pretty evident fairly quickly that it's not going to.
Yeah.
Like, they mention that the engine's unrecognisable, all the valves are rusted. Mm-hmm. It's just, they can't get anything working.
They're just floating now, basically.
Yeah. The radio doesn't work either, so they can't call out for help. Trondheim at this point gets agitated. He starts demanding answers.
And again, he's got a point.
Yeah.
He had no idea what he was.
He's stranded. Like, this is almost a death sentence at this point. Even without this sort of disease or whatever that's inflicting upon them, they're in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, only licensed ships. Mulder and Scully didn't tell anyone they were coming. You know what I mean? Exactly. It's a death sentence. Mulder tells them it might be the result of a government experiment in which time might be manipulated. And suddenly, Halvorsen, the sort of second in command of the ship, is heard yelling. So they run after them. They try and find him, and when they discover him, his head has just been smashed in. Basically, he's dead on the floor.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is straight away. We didn't really know that much about him. He was the one that sort of shouted that the ship was in front of them. Apart from that, we never really knew him.
Yeah.
We barely knew you.
Poor guy. Yeah. Gets one line and then gets bashed.
Yeah. So yeah, they find this dead body and then they hear someone moving through the ship. So they go to investigate, and in the freezer they find Captain Barclay from the intro, and he was hiding with a bottle of Jack Daniels. And he's, again, same as the other people, looked aged, looked weak, looked brittle, didn't look in good shape.
It's a good bit of product placement, to be fair, for Jack Daniels. They get the label and it'll keep you alive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was helping him to a certain extent.
Do you reckon they put that in? As like, you can only show it if it's a plot point that it saves his life.
Maybe. I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, though, it would dehydrate him. That's
what I thought when they said, "Oh, that's probably what kept him alive." I was like, I don't know. Like,
no, because it would have dehydrated him, which would make the salt work faster.
Yeah, I thought he would be dead quicker.
Yeah, you'd imagine so.
Unless he's distilled the alcohol out. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I'm not convinced.
Yeah, me neither. So Scully interrogates him, asks him about a light the crew saw. Because they did mention that they saw a lot of light in the ocean on that same night, that before all hell broke loose. And Barclay said that they had a power loss after they saw the light, and even the sea and the wind stopped. But Trondheim's not having it. He thinks that Barclay's a drunkard, but at this point he does think that Barclay killed his sort of shipmate. So he's just lashing out. But Barclay, saying he basically says that time got lost for him and all of his men, and they do give him like a glass of water at this point, and he can barely hold the glass. Yeah. So Mulder and Scully later on do turn around and say, like, it doesn't really make sense that it would take a lot of strength
to bash somebody's skull in.
This guy can't hold a glass. Like, it doesn't make sense, really, does it?
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you know what that is?
Names in it.
Trondheim. In the meantime.
Who's that? What character is that?
Cheeky bastard. In the meantime, Trondheim commits Halvorsen's body to the sea.
He literally just lobs him overboard.
I know, it was very unceremonious.
I thought that. I was like, I know he's giving him a sailor's burial, but it's like literally like, straight.
Like, you always see sailor's burials where they're like just pushed gently out, and it's like they're floating away, and it's kind of beautiful.
Or are you talking about Spock? in Star Trek, when they like cast out, they give him a funeral.
I don't remember that one.
In the film, and they just fire him out.
Fire him out of a cannon. It happens in Starship Troopers as well.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I think to be fair,
a space cliche, isn't
it? You know what? I think it's more a high seas cliche.
That's it.
Because every space film treats space as the sea of the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the thing, that the spaceships are always like, they're called like the Navy or something like that.
Yeah, and it's always lieutenants and like proper naval ranks, and then you've always got like basically the same tropes you always see the same in space. I don't know why it's so entwined with that sort of theory, but it tends to be in most sci-fi.
It's weird you don't see it because I guess it could technically be the Air Force, but it's always the Navy. Yeah, it is weird.
Very strange.
I don't know.
Trondheim doesn't have long to mourn because he gets attacked by who we later learn is Olafsson.
Yes, yeah.
Mulder stops the fight with Olafsson, whom Mulder doesn't want Olafsson hurt because he thinks he might be important because Olafsson hasn't aged.
Yeah, you can tell straight away that however long this guy's been here, he just looks normal.
But he might have only been here 2 minutes.
Well, true, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't make a difference.
He jumped off the boat at the wrong time.
So yeah, as I say, he stops the fight, and Trondheim's obviously fuming at this. He's very angry because obviously this guy tried to kill him. And he calls him, he knows him, he calls him a pirate and a deceiver, and he mentions that his friends might have taken his boat just now.
Yeah.
When they go back, Scully tells Mulder that Barclay has died.
Yeah. This is in the last 15 minutes, isn't it? Yeah.
Which, looking back on it now, I didn't pick up at the time, but it is just after they give him that glass of water.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't pick up on that at the time, because obviously we didn't know, but yeah, that would make sense, really. Scully describes it as him turning into a pillow of salt. Mulder tells him to tie up Olafsson so they can get some rest, and after a quick sort of 40 winks, Mulder and Scully begin to show signs of like the same conditions, like the aging. They wake up and they've got like old Mulder and Scully face.
Yeah, they've not gone fully old. They're like middle-aged at this point.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed was like, we know now they are middle-aged. They have not aged that badly.
No.
They look great for their age.
Yeah, exactly.
This makes them look terrible.
I mean, to an extent, you know what, Scully, I could sort of see it would. I could see bits of Scully now in her, like the way she. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the actor Gillian Anderson, the way she is in today's age. I could see little similarities, but then that's just a face, I suppose.
Do you know what? I saw it more with David Duchovny.
Did you really?
Yeah, I thought he looked more. This is completely insulting. Because I don't think they look anything like...
Insulting. I need to stop these puns. Sorry, everybody.
And I apologise for last week, by the way. I could not think of an animal pun in post. So I just decided to not... Let's not even attempt it. I thought his middle-aged looked closer to what he actually looks like now, but not close enough to... I feel like saying it looked closer is insulting. It's not that bad.
And in all fairness, again, I don't know about David Duchovny, I can't tell really, but Gillian Anderson's had a lot of work done as well. So, you know, you never know, she might have looked like that if she hadn't, but I mean, I think they both look pretty good for their age, really.
Oh yeah, they look cracking.
Mulder's put on a bit of weight, but then haven't we all?
I was going to say, I can't talk. It used to fit into mediums. And I'm like, what happened?
Those were the days. So yeah, they wake up and they're both old, and you have this sort of nice little moment where they're both looking at each other like with sympathy because Scully realises it's happened to Mulder, and Mulder realises it's happened to Scully.
I like the reveal as Mulder moves into the light and you see his old face, and you're like, oh no, it's the pair of them.
Yeah, exactly. So I like this scene; it was good. Olafsson still hasn't aged.
No,
we do realise that. So they argue about what the phenomena is and who is to blame. And Scully has this theory that she basically claims that it's oxidization of the cells and tissue as well. And it may be caused by the very water around them. And a large metallic object could be imposing on them free radicals.
She mentions that the free radicals are something that naturally attack your cells, and that's why you age. That's the theory of why you age anyway.
She does go on to say that she thinks because they're talking about this meteor falling in, and she almost thinks that the ship is connecting to the meteor using the water as a sort of transmitter, making it basically into a large battery. Yeah. There's a lot of sort of science talk. Yeah. And what do you call it now? I can't remember when it's just like
when
sci-fi science, you know what I mean?
When
pseudoscience, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. To be fair, to its credit, I liked the science in this episode because it was all, as you mentioned, pseudoscience, but I could buy it all that there was these free radicals attacking the cells more accelerated. It was more accelerated, and that's the cause. So I was like, oh, that's quite.
I'm happy to run with that.
Yeah, that was quite a clever sort of story device, I suppose. Because initially I thought it was just going to be like they said this time.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like what was that film Interstellar, where they get close to a black hole and time speeds up.
That would have been awkward for the rest of the season though if they had to keep on putting like this sort of prosthetic makeup on.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, how are they going to get out of this? Like, if this is a time thing, I was like, what's going to happen?
Yeah, because you can't just go back through. You'd go through another aging process going back through.
Exactly, yeah. You can't unage, unfortunately. Sorry, guys.
At this point, blood starts trickling down from the roof, and Mulder goes to investigate. He actually tells them it's not blood, it's rust. The rust, and the captain did say that when this all started to happen last time, the ship was bleeding.
Yeah.
So maybe it was this rust, not blood.
Yeah, because it does look quite similar. Actually.
Yeah, it does.
Anyone who's ever been to like a shed and picked up an old like watering can or something like, you get that rusty water.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So yeah, Trondheim is left with Olafsson while Mulder and Scully sort of go and investigate. And Olafsson immediately tries to bargain with Trondheim, asking him to let him go. He's using the fact that he hasn't aged as his leverage, basically. Meanwhile, Mulder identifies that the one pipe which is not rusted over and finds it leads to a sewage processing sort of plant area. And they realise that that's clean water. And that...
Yeah, I did find it quite weird that the sewage pipe is the one with the clean water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean...
I understand why, because
there's definitely some clean water there, but like... I don't understand why that pipe didn't rust.
I think they're basically saying that it didn't connect to the sea, like the pipe that was... Yeah, that makes
the sewage would,
the rest of the ship rusts. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I'm not sure about that anyway. But they find a spot where this sewage sort of pipe leads to.
Yeah.
Where they believe Olafsson and his friends were hiding, and they basically determined that the only worthy drinking water comes out of this pipe, which in turn leads them to the theory that it's the drinking water that's making them age.
Yeah. Because it's being recycled from the sea, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we return, and Trondheim has killed Olafsson. That's what we see when we get back. Olafsson sort of slung against the wall, his head smashed in, and he's drinking water from the toilet. That's what he's doing right now. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Yeah. It's only been like 8 hours. He's really sort of just hit he's gone straight to apocalypse.
Did you ever play Fallout? I think whenever you're like desperate for water in Fallout, you can drink from a toilet, and that was always dire straits because you're like, I'm going to get irradiated. It's not going to go well. He just went straight to the punch.
Straight to it. So when we cut back to Mulder, he's rightly pissed.
Yeah.
Because Olafsson's missing. Trondheim tries to blame his knot tying skills, which Mulder wasn't having any of it. His knot tying skills are superb.
Impeccable. These were cut. He's not having any of it.
Scully asks for I think she's just trying to stop them from fighting at this point.
Yeah.
She asks for blood and urine samples from both of them. And after testing, Scully finds a large amount of salt, which is causing rapid cellular damage. Mulder does not look like he's doing well right now.
No.
He's aging a lot faster than Scully and Trondheim.
Yeah.
Scully does, I don't think it's at this point, but later on she does sort of mention in a log that she thinks it's because he was seasick.
Yeah.
So he's a little slightly more dehydrated than the rest of them.
Yeah.
Which again makes sense.
Yeah, I like that they put that in to make... give him a reason as to why...
It wasn't just sort of left hanging there.
And even later on as well, they mentioned about like who should drink the water, and he makes a point that she should, because he said that women have a longer life expectancy, and they apparently
they retain more fat.
More fat, yeah. Bit of a diss, to be fair, but it's like fair enough.
Yeah,
I like the science behind it.
Yeah, it makes sense. And again, I like that when they're trying to sort of explain their actions rather than just doing them for the sake of it.
Yeah. Then just saying, oh, I guess it just happened like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Especially in this type of program as well, where it is quite science-based. I think we said one of the notes before was that they didn't see it as a science fiction show. It's just a thriller with science. So I do quite like that they ground it enough that you can buy it. You know?
Yeah, exactly. You buy into it. Trondheim suggests, quite selfishly, that he wants to stop giving Mulder rations of water.
Yeah.
And it takes to... Even, he argues the point that Mulder isn't going to make it and they've got to start looking out for themselves.
Yeah.
And even starts taking to roaming the ship one night. And Scully finds that he's hoarding all the clean water to himself. They sort of stand off with each other. He goes to attack her.
Yeah. She pulls a gun on him as well.
And she pulls a gun on him.
I'd have just shot him.
I know, yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, in a situation like that, it's very Lord of the Flies, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you do? Because, I mean, it is that question, isn't it? Like, he doesn't know them. He doesn't owe them anything. And it's a case of surviving 9 days or surviving 3 with 2 other people.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Is he in the wrong? I suppose morally he is, but then...
Morally he is. But again, like I said, he had no idea what he was coming out to, and now he's trying to look after himself.
Because you don't know whether he might have 12 kids at home. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't know.
We've just made the next few scenes incredibly depressing. If this guy's got 12
but
kids.
You don't know what he's got to lose. And, like, if I don't know. I'd like to think I'd try and be the better person, but I probably would last longer than a day like this guy does.
Yeah.
But when it came down to like 3 days and you've got like 1 day's water supply left, and it's like a choice between surviving another day and going home and seeing your family, or surviving 2 hours with 3 other people, I think you'd start to blur the lines of what's acceptable and what's not.
Yeah, you always hear about that, didn't you? Like when people get stranded in like the mountains and stuff like that, you suddenly start doing stuff that no human would think about doing normally.
Let's make a pact.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going on my stag do.
Okay.
In 3 or 4 months, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to Amsterdam for the weekend.
Okay, I know what you're going to say. If the plane crashes, where could it possibly crash on the way to Amsterdam that wouldn't be civilized? We're in Paris.
We crash in Belgium. Sorry, Belgium. There's a little joke.
The lawless state of Belgium.
There's a little joke, but let's just say Belgium is terrible.
We land in the Ardennes.
Yeah. The slums, the ghetto of Belgium.
I thought the Ardennes is a forest, isn't it?
No, I'm changing it to the ghetto.
Okay.
We've
crashed in the ghetto.
We've crashed into the Belgium ghetto, right?
Okay.
And there's nothing around. We need to survive. If one of us is mortally injured, if you are mortally injured, do I have permission to eat you? Even though you're not dead yet?
Oh, no, wait till I'm dead. Don't eat me while I'm alive.
I don't want the meat to go rotten.
I'm not going to go rotten.
No,
after 5 minutes.
What I would do is...
Wait until I'm at least no pulse. Just check.
No. But the meat would go rotten. See, the thing is, if you're alive, I can cut a leg off.
No, you're not eating me
No, listen. I can cut a leg off.
Fight you off.
No, you can't because you're injured, remember.
Oh, God.
I'm going to tie you up, cut a leg off.
You've had way too much time
listen.
to think about this.
I'm going to keep you alive.
I'm making a podcast of a psychopath.
I'm going to keep you alive,
okay.
And then I'll be able to eat your leg. The rest of you stays fresh. So I can live off you for like a couple of weeks. Just a bit at a time.
Nah, I'm not
even to save my life.
Nah.
Your best mate.
Nah. I'm not having my legs eaten off. Unless like my legs have got no feeling and it's like, okay, whatever. I'm going to have new ones anyway at some point.
Just me gnawing on them.
Yeah, just nibble on my toes if you want. This took a weird turn, it's got to be said.
Life's tough in the ghetto.
The ghettos of Belgium. Yeah.
Right. So let's get back to Trondheim. Because
Yeah.
he doesn't have these decisions to make. He's got split-second decisions.
You wouldn't want to eat a salty piece of meat, to be fair.
No, not in this. Yeah, exactly. So all he wants is water. And they get into this standoff, and Trondheim manages to lock himself in with the water supply. I like this bit, this next scene, because immediately Scully starts to rummage through the kitchen.
Yeah.
And she finds a whole manner of items. She finds like tuna cans or like some sort of processed fish can.
Yeah. She finds what's it as well, like a snow globe.
A snow globe, which I would have thought that's poisonous in there. I don't know.
Yeah. I maybe it's just water.
Yeah.
But it's got those little bits.
I think I might be thinking of the temperature. A thermometer, should I say.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's mercury, do you know what I mean? I don't know why, but...
Don't be drinking mercury.
Don't be drinking mercury, yeah.
Don't even think they put mercury in thermometers anymore, do they? Because of that reason.
Oh, do they not?
No,
I'll tell you what. Why doesn't everyone go and get the nearest thermometer?
Have a sip.
Have a sip.
What happens.
Let us know. Email in. If we don't receive any emails, we know what's...
To be fair,
we've got our answer.
Doesn't mercury send you mental?
Yeah, it's not. It's really bad for you. Yeah.
Disclaimer: do not drink mercury. Not even for a joke.
No, we did not mean that. So, so she finds the snow globe. She finds like these tuna cans, and
I never thought I would have to say in a podcast, "Do not drink mercury." This is a weird day for me. It's gonna be fair.
It's been a strange podcast, but I like it. It's working.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
Yeah. So she combines all these forms of sort of liquid, and she pops it all into a glass, and she gives it to Mulder. Doesn't look very appetising. I have to be honest.
There's a bit in this as well. I don't know if it's on that rundown where he sort of they explain where the waters come. She explains where the waters come from, and he sort of licks his lips.
Yeah,
it looks horrible.
Yeah, with his pathetic, he's like
makeup. I was like, oh,
like a dirty old man.
Yeah, that's the thing. It looks really disgusting. But
Mulder, however, tells her that she should have it, and like what you said earlier, women can retain water better, and they are longer life expectancy. And let's be honest, Mulder isn't doing too well anyway.
Yeah. I think he has already resigned himself to. He's gone.
So, but Scully's telling him that, well, because you're closer to death, it makes more sense for you to have it. So they're having this sort of conversation, completely in contrast to the way the other guy went. They're looking out for each other. Yeah. So it's a nice little contrast here. But before they can decide, the ship begins to rock violently, and the glass falls on the floor. Yeah. Every little bit of moisture. Literally, Scully put every bit of moisture in one place and dropped it. Yeah. She brought it, and she dropped it.
I just thought all that effort she went to,
I know.
Smashed on the floor.
So they come to the conclusion that the ship is taking on water, which is confirmed to us when we see sort of the rust it's corroded through the hull of the ship. Water starts coming in. And we see in the little tiny room that Trondheim's locked himself in, should I say, it starts taking on tons of water. Yeah. And in a kind of a sad scene.
I thought this was horrible. This is a really bad scene, yeah.
He starts banging on the door, screaming for help. And he drowns. He drowns to death.
And these 12 kids, as we've established, now fatherless.
They're like little Tommy.
Yeah.
Little Tommy and Trondheim Jr.
Especially after what happened to their mother as well.
I know. But to be fair, it's her own fault for going to the Belgian ghettos. She should have known better.
Yeah. She got her legs eaten off. Some guy named Daniel. This is the darkest episode of the most.
Yeah, so I mean, it was kind of sad. This bit, it really was. It was
again because
I hate this in general. Like this, I think just drowning's got to be the worst way to go. Apparently, and I don't know how you would know this, but I hear it's meant to be almost like a serenity.
Yeah, when apparently it's the most peaceful way to go, isn't it? But I don't believe that.
No, because I can't imagine getting... It's that panic stage, isn't it? Like when you're literally just thrashing around, you're panicking, and then you finally take that breath of water in. But apparently... And how would anyone know this?
That's the thing. Like whenever you hear, it's meant to be like this, and it's like, well, you'd be dead if you... you know?
So I hear when you take that breath of water in, you sort of get like this sort of state euphoria, of transcendence where you just sort of euphoria is the best way to put it. But it just feels like me like the worst way to go. Drowning it just sounds like it sucks. It does.
Do you know what else sucks? Having your legs chewed off by a good close friend.
But you're saving someone's life. At least you've got that knowledge.
Whilst you're in complete agony.
Yeah, but you'd see me enjoying myself. Like, it's bit of this, bit of that.
I don't know. I don't know if they'll. Well, it's for the greater cause. Also, why are you surviving a greater cause than me surviving?
Because you're already injured.
Well, how do you know that?
I can see.
Mulder was mortally injured.
You've got like a sprained ankle. You're never going to make it.
Yeah, that Belgian health service is not going to save me from that sprain.
We're sorry, Belgium.
Yeah.
We don't know anything.
I have
about
no
Belgium.
idea. Belgium might be. To be honest, I get the feeling Belgium's a lovely country.
Yeah. What's the capital of Belgium?
Bruges, isn't it? No, that's
Brussels.
Brussels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Belgium probably hates us at the moment with Theresa May. There's Theresa May. I was like, is that our prime minister? Oh, keep going over there at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Yakking for more.
Stop trying to turn this into a political podcast.
AKA a Brexit talk. Or yakking for more. What a way to simplify it. Oh, anyway, yeah.
So
we take no stance.
No, of course not. After this untimely death, 14 hours later, to be precise, Mulder jokes that he always wants to take a cruise when he got older. And he says he didn't expect it to be like this.
Yeah.
The service is terrible in this ship. Still making jokes even at death's door. But he basically turns around and says that this isn't fair.
Yeah.
It's not. This isn't their time. And I felt this sort of pulled my heartstrings as well, because it's just like, it's not fair. That's not fair. You know, they're literally just got to take their lives taken away from them. Mm-hmm. And then we hear Scully's report, and she speaks about the fact that Mulder's dropped into a coma. Before
this as well, she's talking to Mulder, and she reassures him that.
Of course she does. Yeah.
Reassures him.
Recounts her time away with when she's in that coma, didn't?
Yeah, because she says that there's nothing to worry about on the other side.
She's 100% positive.
Yeah.
Just as much as this life that she is in, and afterwards there's nothing to fear.
Yeah.
That was a kind of nice moment. That was, and it does open up a lot of questions. It does. I mean, does that say that there is an afterlife in this world for definite?
I don't know. She could have been hallucinating.
Yeah, I suppose
on these alien. Drugs that she's having or whatever.
I suppose you could see it as it could be a dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
She's a dream.
Anything. I wish I was so sure. That would make life a whole lot less scary.
Wouldn't it? Yeah. So I completely forgot about that. And then she later does go on to write in a journal about Mulder's lost consciousness, and the ship must be sinking, she says. Among Halverson's belongings, this is a bit of a strange thing to pop in, but she does. Among Halverson's belongings, she found a children's book of Norse mythology, and it depicts the end of the world, and basically, the end of the world. There's this whole sort of different things that happen in this book, but it ends up with a wolf eating the sun. Yeah. So like
she says that everything would freeze over basically.
Yeah, the moon, the earth, and this wolf would eat the sun, which is the last sort of heat.
Called Skull, I think the wolf was.
Oh, was it? I didn't get the name of the.
Is this wolf. Ragnarok? Is that what they're referring to? Because I've always heard Ragnarok is like the end of the world in Norse mythology.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean I've heard that as well, but I
don't know. I didn't know if it involved a wolf.
No, I don't.
It was a snake. I don't
remember a wolf either.
I'm gonna find out.
Yeah, you have a look, but I'll carry on with this.
It would just be Thor,
basically. But she does basically concede that the wolf's at the door now. We're basically saying she thinks she's about to die. And as we sort of fade away from Scully, we see a rescue crew boarding the ship, finding Scully and Mulder together, and it's a lovely scene actually, because the heads are sort of tilted towards each other. That they died sat next to each other, and it was just kind of almost peaceful in the worst possible way, I suppose.
Yeah.
She awakens later and finds that she's under the care of the same doctor who threw her out at the beginning.
Funny how the tables have turned.
Yeah, and she's being nice to her now as well.
Yeah.
The doctor tells her that they were only able to save Mulder because of her notes about the conditions that she made throughout their journey. And she mentioned that Scully talked about we need to go back there, we need to do some further investigation. But the Doctor says that the ship sunk an hour after they were rescued, so there's nothing there left to be examined. And it's quite a cold close to the episode.
It's really quick how it wraps up. Yeah, I found with it.
But that was the end. What did you think?
Just before... Yeah, I don't think that's Ragnarok. Ragnarok's when a big snake fights Thor and then eats the world, I think, or something like that. So I don't know where this...
I mean, it's just a children's story, I suppose, though, isn't it? So it could just be, literally just a fable.
I guess so, yeah. Yes, this episode, I'm back on topic. I thought it was okay. I like the science behind it, as I mentioned earlier, like this idea of these salt, I guess, is sort of attacking the cells and reducing them. And it also gives them a way to reverse it, which, yeah, thank God. I like that. I like the sets. I really thought this setting of a ship with some of the shots that they do is quite interesting. It was kind of boring. It was kind of... Not a lot happened, and they didn't have a main antagonist, really. The antagonists were the guy who sailed them there, or got them there because he was trying to look out for himself, and this pirate guy.
Yeah.
They weren't really like a main antagonist. They were just sort of people fighting for their own... I don't know. It just didn't have like that driving villain, and because of that, it felt a bit flat to me.
The pirate guy really confused me because I mean, I don't know why he was there. If the pirates took his ship, why was he left behind? And how did he he was bargaining with the fact that he knows where the clean water is. How did he know that the water was killing him?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
There was a lot of plot holes, as we've mentioned throughout this.
There was it doesn't kill it. It's just niggling little plot discrepancies. I thought the same as you. It was an alright episode. Yeah. I described it to my to Jem when I was watching it as ice light.
Yeah.
I think it kind of every time they've done it a few times now where they try and do the whole thing where it's a dire situation. Are they all going to turn on each other? And this was a nice contrast to that because Mulder and Scully not at any point turned on each other. They was just full on, we either survive together or we die together. Yeah. And that was nice because it's not necessarily been like that in the first season. But, yeah, it just didn't have the same tension as those other episodes.
It felt like one too many because we've had Ice, obviously, which we really enjoyed. Then there was Firewalker, which was still good, but it felt a bit treading the same ground.
What was the other one as well with the bugs?
Oh, Darkness Falls.
Yes, yeah. And
Darkness
Falls
was
the same type of thing.
I enjoyed Darkness Falls, but again, that was sort of coming up after Ice. Firewalker, and then this one just feels like, okay, we've done this now. Let's move on.
Which is a shame because I'm fascinated by ghost ships and
the
like. I really do like that sort of idea. So I think the couple. I almost think I might have preferred a time travel story.
Yeah.
I'd like to... I imagine how much of a game changer that would be if they found out time travel is possible in this world.
Yeah.
And how they could use that in the future. It's so many different things.
And that sort of could tie into the mythology as well.
To be fair, they might still do that in the future, obviously, of course.
Yeah, we've got a few...
They've got to have time travel. I'm almost certain that's got to be in it at some point. Yeah. That might be my predictions for next season.
For next series.
Yeah.
Okay.
You never know.
Well, anyway.
And now it's time for Luke.
Luke's production notes.
Prior to the episode being produced, the Canada Forces had granted permission for the show to use the HMCS Mackenzie, a decommissioned destroyer, for the production of Colony and Endgame. Series creator Chris Carter wanted to take full advantage of this rare opportunity and asked Howard Gordon to write another episode that could also be filmed on a ship, which I think we've mentioned before that they used a ship afterwards. So yeah, he must have thought, as you said, if we've got it, might as well use it.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was the same ship, though. That's quite cool.
Yeah. In the book, The Unofficial X-File Companion, that sounds an interesting book. I reckon we should try and look at it.
Yeah, I'd be interested in getting that. We should start getting our own live collection comics.
Yeah.
Just see, we want to be experts. We want to get as much information as we can.
Experts.
Oh, he's got a pun. Yeah. He's the pun master now.
I don't know. I'm not going to do anything there. Just carry on. Anyway, yeah. In the book, the official X-Files companion, N.E. Genge. How do you pronounce that? Genge.
Which one?
N.E.G. Genge. I might have got that wrong. Who knows? Answer on a postcard. Any Genge notes that aspects of the episode bear striking resemblance to the Philadelphia experiment, the Acropophil, God, that's a tough word, naval military experiment that lives on as an urban legend.
Yeah, which we talked about in the episode. Yeah. To be fair, I'd never heard of it before.
If there's a really good YouTube video on it, and it's by, I think I've mentioned their channel before, The Stuff They Don't Want You to Know.
Yes, yeah.
Their YouTube videos are quite good because they're only like 10 minutes long, so you sort of get all of these stories and that in. And again, I don't believe any.
They're just interesting and fun to listen to, yeah.
Yeah, and it's sort of interesting to think, I wonder what if, but some of them are just... Okay.
Yeah.
It's the kind of stuff that you hear every now and again. You just like the moon landings and, lizard people.
Yeah.
I like.
But the moon landings didn't happen. No, they did. They obviously did.
Did you hear? It was on another podcast actually. They were talking about that. Like, they worked out that in 1969, because it was a live broadcast, and the cost of film, and how they would have to get it to be seamless.
Yeah.
While they were doing it live, it would actually cost them more in the costs of the film than if they actually sent them to the moon. So there's no way. There's no way that they would have faked it.
With anything like that, any huge conspiracy theories, the biggest thing that just completely shuts me off to it is that I know that if someone... there's no way... Yes, fine, you can have the president be shut up about something, and you can have his 4... I don't know, heads of securities shut up about something. You cannot get the janitor to shut up about something to his family and his kids and his friends. And when you talk about stuff like the moon landing, you're talking about tens of thousands of people involved in this. If it was fake, there is no way you're keeping every single one of them people quiet.
It's the same reason as to why all this flat earther stuff going on at the moment. If you ignore the science behind it anyway, if you stand on the top of the Eiffel Tower, you can see the curvature of the Earth anyway. Yeah. So obviously it's not flat. But anyway, even if it was, the amount of cover-up that would be needed, every person who's ever been to the moon would have to be in on it.
Every
pilot would... There's so many people that would have to hush up.
No. Every pilot, every air hostess... it's just so ridiculous. Yeah. There's no way you're keeping that many people quiet. Yeah. It doesn't work.
Do you know what I think it is, though, with a lot of, conspiracy theories? People like to be in on something that other people
that's all it is. It's like a community.
Do you know when you hear a band that nobody else has heard of for the first time, and you want to be like that person, I've heard that their first album was really good and stuff like that. Yeah. It's that, but on a grander scale. It's that sort of, I got there first and I know something that you don't know. When really, even the people from the 14th century didn't actually believe the Earth was flat. That was something that they've disproved recently, that they were no one really believed that. Yeah. So if you believe that, you've been a bit sillier than a 14th century peasant. So sorry to... to be fair, we don't have any flat earthers. I respect our audience enough.
How do you know we don't?
I respect our audience enough to know that they wouldn't believe that.
Okay. You watch our listenership drop by 50%
what's
next
going
week.
On here? It fell off the edge of the earth, didn't it?
Oh, by the way, for God's sake, dearie me.
Mirror week. Go on.
We hit $4,000.
We did.
Yeah, landmark. Well done, Luke.
Me. Thanks, guys.
Good job, Luke. Good
Thanks.
job.
I try my best. Yeah.
Yeah, no, in all seriousness, thanks everyone for downloading and sticking with us.
Yeah,
and we're still having a blast doing this.
We can't believe that people actually listen. And I mean, you might not anymore after these disparaging comments. But thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks
it means the world to us. And again, the more people stick along with us, the more we want to carry on and just get better and better and better. So.
Weird time to put that, but we'll...
Yeah, I know, I just thought of it because we were talking about downloads, so sorry.
No, it's all good. Anyway, on with the production notes. It was initially believed that by using the same set for 3 episodes, the production crew would be given something of a break before the script for Død Kalm was finished. Carter even expressed his belief that the episode would provide everyone with a great rest. Unfortunately, when the crew began using the ship, a number of problems set in. For one thing, the temperature dropped significantly, making the entire filming process uncomfortable for both cast and crew. The closed quarters of the ship also meant that the production was relatively cramped. Finally, the makeup applied to Duchovny and Anderson took hours each day to apply, resulting in substantial delays. Director Rob Bowman later called Død Kalm the episode from hell due to these issues.
Yeah, I can imagine, to be fair, yeah.
There's a lot of things to go wrong there. Yeah, you're filming in the cold, in this cold ship. The makeup, it's just a lot of problems.
I think with prosthetic makeup, always sounds a lot better in theory than it does when you're actually there. Because you do hear about these films where it's 6 hours off and on, and it's just, it makes life so miserable. I mean, to be fair, have you seen, it's happened with the new X-Files films, hasn't it? Have you seen all the controversy about that? Mystique in X-Men First Class.
X-Men. I thought you meant you said X-Files. I was like,
oh, did I say X-Files? Sorry. No, I'm sorry. I meant X-Men.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence in playing Mystique. In the first one, she's in this full prosthetic makeup.
The blue, like...
Yeah. Second one, it's like the top of her face with just like her bottom of her face is just normal, but blue, obviously, but prosthetic on the top. And this new one, it's just like blue lines just drawn onto her face. Like, honestly,
imagine with a felt tip.
It's like it's literally like it gets worse and not worse and worse, but it gets less and less work every time, and you can understand because the effort that it must go through every week, it's crazy.
See, with films, I always think like they can do a lot, and it is a one-off experience, I suppose. But the ones I always thought that were never going to happen were The Walking Dead. I know in the comics, spoilers for the comics if you ever are reading, that Rick loses his hand. And then he's lost that through the rest of the comics. I knew they definitely were not going to do that in the show just because it would be a production nightmare.
Yeah.
And the second one was Tyrion in Game of Thrones. Like, I think in the books he has his nose sliced off pretty much. But yeah, in the program it's a cut.
They give him a scar,
Yeah, because imagine trying to do no nose for like 7 series. The show's production crew shot most of the episode's interior and exterior scenes on the Mackenzie. The ship was repainted rust brown in order to more closely resemble an abandoned ship, a technique Graham Murray referred to as paint aged.
Okay, interesting. I feel like you should know what that is.
Paint aged.
Because you paint like Warhammer models, don't you?
I do.
Like, I'd imagine, like, isn't there certain, like, styles of paint that make it look
there's like
old and...
There's like specialist paints, they call them, where you can basically, they've got grit in them to make it look like dirt and stuff like that.
Cracked and stuff like that. I mean, that would make... That's what I would have thought, because, you don't want everyone looking brand new, do you?
Yeah, I get you get that on just a big industrial scale.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't got one of those little tiny pots.
little £3 pots from...
This one's got grit in it. He starts on the battleship.
We need 5,000 more. Cost you a fortune, I'll tell you that much. The Mackenzie had originally been moored at New Westminster Quay, but in order to avoid light pollution from the Great Vancouver area during exterior shots, the ship was moved to the more remote location in the Strait of Georgia, a move that cost the show around $10,000. A lot of money to move a ship.
Yeah, that is.
Shortly after production of Død Kalm was finished, the Mackenzie was scuttled and now serves as an artificial reef off the Georgia Strait.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting.
It's always a piece of that. A landmark, I guess? I don't know. To ease filming, the producers sought out a set that they could use as both a bar and hospital. a task initially believed impossible by the show's location scouts. Eventually, Jericho Sailing Club in Vancouver was selected. When the set was completed, the cast and crew of Død Kalm reportedly found it amazing. Duchovny was particularly pleased because it was only a short distance away from where he was living at the time. The producers subsequently decided to find possible locations closer to where the main stars were living in order to ease future filming.
That makes sense, yeah. That's nice. That's a nice idea.
Pulling some strings for cover.
Oh, well, yeah, for cover, yeah. Why
it
not?
back.
At the end of the day, was he a star before he started this? I don't think he was he?
I know he was in Twin Peaks before this.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Was that before? Okay.
That was like 1990, I think. So he was in that. But I don't know if he was a star from that, because that was quite a niche program.
I mean, he definitely would have started to have become a household name at this point.
X-Files is the thing that made him, as you said, a household name. But yeah, I don't think he was a star. Not a big star anyway.
Interesting.
That's my production notes for this week.
Superb. Why don't we do a little bit of feedback before we head off and say all of our goodbyes?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Let's do it then. Do you want to start us off?
Okay, yeah. So first this week, we had 2 tweets from... we actually had 3, but we'll leave the one till later because it's about a different episode. 2 tweets at the beginning from Kathy. One, she was just saying... please do a musical episode.
I told you we should do it.
I mean, there might be a blooper this week that might go in that sort of might kill that dead. We'll see. She also said, all the Skinner appreciation in the latest episode, Endgame, makes me happy. He's such a great character, and I love that we go from not knowing where he stands to knowing he will always have their backs. He's such a loyal FBI dad and badass.
I completely agree. I love Skinner.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's gone from a character that I didn't really like.
I despised him.
Yeah, pretty much
in the day.
Pretty much one of my favourites now.
Yeah. I every time he's on the screen, I'm like, this is great. I can't wait to see him next. Yeah. And you know what's going to be great as well? I hope he's going to have a big role to play in the final of this season. And you assume he would, and it's the first time we actually get to see him proper sort of get into it. I hope anyway, but you never know.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
We had a tweet from Ray as well. She's talking about the 2-parter of Colony and Endgame. She said this 2-parter for me is one of the best Myth Arc episodes. It was awesome the way they built the set and the pic you posted, which was of the submarine with all the lights and in the ice. She just put a little caveat, FYI. Peter Donat, who played Mulder's father, just passed away 3 months ago.
Oh, that's sad news.
I know, yeah, I didn't realise that. So, I mean, I don't know whether we'll see him anymore in the future. I'm assuming we will. So, yes, very sad news. But she goes on to say, thanks, guys, the podcast was fun.
And yeah, we'll just finish on the last one. Kathy also responded about the last episode that we did, Fearful Symmetry. And she said, I enjoyed your take on Fearful Symmetry. Glad you didn't hate it. I know it's not good, but I don't mind it. I can enjoy Mulder's wild theories too. Two of the lone gunmen and Scully's autopsy inside an elephant. That's something you don't see every day.
It certainly isn't.
No.
And I always feel like the lone gunman, if you're on a 10-star rating, always bring it up 2 stars instantly. Yeah. Just by being in the episode.
They're always a joy to behold.
Yeah, I really do enjoy them. So yeah, I agree with that. That's fair.
Cool. That's this for this week, isn't it?
Don't you try and wrap up on my behalf.
Well, you've eaten my leg,
so
take it somewhere else.
So yeah, that's it.
Maybe I should have done it.
You should take over me. Take over me, mate.
Oh, I'm Checkley.
Well, this is terrible. This is a terrible ending to the show.
Yeah.
I thought actually it worked out quite well not having notes. I think we skirted our way around it.
We made our way through. Yeah,
just about.
Yeah, we did it. Next time we need them notes.
Yeah, I'm gonna check and double check. I might have to use another note. I mean, I know this is off air admin, but I'm gonna have to use another note system, I think. But anyway, for this week, it's goodbye from us. We'll be back next week to talk about the next episode, which is Humbug, I believe.
Yeah. I think initially we thought this may be some kind of Dickens kind of...
Christmas episode, maybe, I don't know. But it certainly wasn't that.
No.
So, but we'll talk about that next week. For now, What language are you going to say goodbye to everyone in this week, Luke?
So, my goodbye this week is in the language of peace, the language of the world, Esperanto.
Oh, okay.
And that is adieu.
And what language is that?
Esperanto.
Where's that from?
It was a made-up language by a Polish professor after World War One.
Oh, okay.
He wanted to bring the world together.
Like a universal language.
Yeah. Never took off.
No, it didn't. Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Why would it? Because everyone's already speaking
a language.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to make it...
Right, don't have a go. He's trying.
This is the thing. Without sounding like elitist, if you're going to make up a language for everyone to use, why wouldn't you just use a language that half the population already knows? So go for English or Chinese or I don't know. Well, I think they're the most popular, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So
these days, anyway, I don't know what they were back in the day.
Yeah, or maybe I think French might be up there, sort of, because a lot of African countries speak French as well, don't they? And why not just go for one of them? Use that as just
he wanted it to sort of basically, if you said, "Oh, everyone speaks English," there'll be countries thinking, "Well, why do we have to speak English?"
Yeah.
Whereas if you take a completely new one, no one's.
I don't like the sound of this peace malarkey.
Fair enough. You're gonna love the next 20 years, my friend.
Adieu, everybody.
No, I'm alright for a second. I'll be alright with that.
How far are we?
Not far.
Oh, no, we're almost at the end.
You make me smile. You wanted more singing, guys. You wanted a musical episode. Well, here you go. I need a song now. I've already done that one. I can't do this.
We need a duet.
Yeah.
What's a good duet song?
Grease.
Can we Danny?
No.
No, because Sandy's part first, and I'm getting embarrassed. That's fine.
Was it her first?
Yeah. What?
Summer loving.
Oh no!
Happened so fast.
No.
Yeah.
Summer loving had me a blast.
Don't try and Dwayne
Summer loving happened so fast. I think it's that, isn't it?
I can't remember the words.
I saved her life. She nearly drowned. No, I've skipped.
He splashed me to. I like my Sandy better.
Yeah.
She's bad Sandy from the start.
Sandy doesn't make any sense. Like, what's the moral of that story?
Completely change your personality for a guy that you like.
It's not a strong...
Terrible message.
Yeah, it's awful.
People will only love you if you change completely. Imagine they fly off at the end, which will ignore the fact that the car has flown away.
Yeah. I mean, it's using the power of love.
Using the power of love, cool metaphor. Now, after that, she's going to have to keep up that routine for their entire relationship.
She's picked up smoking.
Yeah. She's smoking. She doesn't even like it.
No.
She's being a dick, and to be honest, she doesn't seem to enjoy that either. 6 months into this relationship, she's going to be f***ing pissed off. She's just going to be that short with him. Terrible marriage.
Yeah, it's just not going to work, is it?
I want to see... They made a Grease 2. Did that have them in it? I can't remember.
I don't think so, no.
Okay. I want to see Grease 7 when it's married with kids, these two.
And they despise each other.
They absolutely hate each other. She's not what he wanted. He's not what she wanted.
Yeah, she's sleeping with the mailman.
Yeah.
He's going out every night.
She's
sleeping with Eugene the mailman.
Yeah.
And he's going out every night and getting drunk. And getting into fights. Prostitutes, yeah. He's got a smack at it.
It's sort of like a spin-off of Saturday Night Fever.
It's all in the same
Maybe.
world.
Oh, that is set in the 70s. That's the 50s. We've nailed it. Saturday Night Fever is a sequel to Grease.
Yeah.
Probably. I've never seen Saturday Night Fever, so I'm just
That's a bold assumption.
I'm just going to assume and carry on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to cut some of this out to put in. That was too good.